Hello and welcome again to another exciting session of Build Your Own Paddleboard. It's the glassing sessions. I'm here with my friend Mike Carroll.
And there's James Evers.
Yeah. Oh, there's that damn logo again.
Wow, 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 wow. Alright. Second half of a big bottom lamination.
Got it going on. The home stretch for the bottom of the board.
Bringing it from rail to rail. A lot of the same things you saw before, just on the opposite side. Getting that lap nice and wet right off the bat.
Let it run right down to the, what's that called?
Where?
The lap.
The lap, yep. L-A-P. I don't know really why. That's just an industry term.
Now I noticed the angle. What's the deal with the angle on the squeegee there?
The angle helps pull the resin forward. As I'm pulling to try to keep an even line of resin going down the board at all times. That way I get a good spread, good even spread of my resin. I don't want to end up with too much up on the front of the nose and bringing it across all those little fibers all at the same time. It's all about equality.
That was a first timer when I first tried to use a squeegee. I held it flat and just pulled it like you would a windshield. And that's a big no, isn't it?
Not at all necessarily. Depends on where you're working and what you're working with, you know. A lot of times after you can get the board all saturated out and you got a little bit of resin left on, you can use that squeegee at a 90-degree angle to help pull them fibers down and really stretch them out. Get a little bit of excess resin. You don't want too much resin on there, just enough to saturate the cloth and then pull out the excess, but not too much because as it dries it does seep and saturate into the foam substrate or the wood in this particular scenario. So there's a balance there. So to answer your question, 90 degrees is a good technique at a certain point in the process.
So it depends on what you're doing and when you're doing it.
Exactly. And like I said before, I was trying to do a technique that's similar with the epoxy-based resin to try to conserve it instead of pulling it and flowing it over the whole lap at once. I'm pulling it at a 90 degree, perpendicular to the stringer, parallel to the stringer. And that's stretching the cloth one way, and then I go back and I stretch it out the other way to help really pull it nice and tight. Here I'm just letting it loose on the board.
And I noticed you can, it seems like you have like a second sight almost. Your eyes are like just dead focused on what you're doing. It's like you could probably do it blindfolded by now at this point.
Good possibility. I have a rhythm I get into, and there's a lot of consistency in my motions. What do they call that? I mean, muscle memory. You just get into a flow and everything works pretty evenly. You know, I'm thinking about what I'm looking at what I'm doing, but I'm thinking about where I'm going to be in the next step. So my mind's a little bit ahead of where my body's at. I'm trying to foresee the future, plan for any sudden mishaps, correct those mistakes immediately before they could turn into something more problematic.
Right here it looks like you're just playing having fun.
Yeah, I'm smiling here. Go look at that. I mean, if you're not having fun making a surfboard, what do you got no business making your surfboard right then.
Yep.
I guess what they call being stoked.
There you go.
If you notice here, I have cut the cloth a little bit because the bend in the nose is so big and that cloth so thick and the laps long. I made a little cut mark so that it would fold over, because if I didn't do that, you can see right here I'm playing with it, it wouldn't bend around that curve. And later on we'll go back and we'll grind that down. I'm just trying to get it as evenly laid as possible. And we'll clean up those edges and those seams here after the lamination has cured.
So So this looks like almost like a little final kind of coat here.
Yeah, just going back over it once out, you know, squeezing out any left excess air.
I wonder at one point I think we hit it up with a paintbrush. But I wasn't sure if it was this time or not.
No, the paintbrush was the very first thing we did. Right on the bare wood. And then at the very end we did the paintbrush again with the hot coat.
Oh, wait a minute, here.
That's a couple of steps in the future after the deck lamination.
Oh, there it is, paintbrush.
Oh yeah?
Yep.
Oh yeah, here I am touching up a couple little dry spots.
So it is good to, like a little quick touch up.
Yeah, well those spots were dry and I advanced, I continued to work. I didn't want to focus right on those little spots at the moment because they weren't as much of a problem. I can always go back and touch them up. Not too long in the future, but you can let a little bit go. It's best not to have anything to your backtrack, but circumstances
if you have
arise,
to,
you have to, and
be quick about it. Yeah.
And that piece doesn't look like it wants to stay too well. So we're just gonna let it do what it wants to do. Grind it off later. Letting those pieces hang, gonna tuck them up right on that seam so that they will grind off nice and clean.
We're starting to see some of those other boards in the background there.
Yeah, you might see one or two. Got a short board on top. There is a wooden board that's been up there for a while. That chambered balsa board hasn't been touched. There it is. The Stoke, the Bane, the Linden.
Yeah, it looks like Beavis.
Oh, that's Phil Beaters.
Phil Beaters?
Yeah, he's a famous comic book character. Loves the band Leftover Crack. You can see on his shirt.
Yep.
There's his stripper girlfriend in the back above the low pressure in the Hawaiian Islands.
Yep.
Pushing the swell.
And a low pressure system up there.
Going to one place, gonna ease up my mind. A place gonna truly freeze time.
You might find Phil Beaters in an internet cartoon on rosstv.com.
Yeah, a lot of problems with that. It's like once you get one of those things hanging like that, it like pulls the rest of the cloth down.
I got no surfboard leash. The lifeguard started blowing his whistle at me. I look to the horizon and what do I see? But a big and nasty swell coming right for me. So now I turn and I stroke, and baby, this ain't no joke. I hang ten a pool, so I'm on my stoke. Sun's going down and there's no one around. It's time to pack it up and head back to town. Well, now I feel a real Irie.
It's very important to have good lighting in all the processes of surfboard making because it affects the final outcome.
Oh, crap. That's it.
Lights out.
Stoke Surfboards! Music by Nuko Oi! Yeah! Alright, until next time. See y'all later.
Adios, amigos.